gotta find a way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, you gotta find a way. You've gotta find. Ooh, you gotta find a way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, you gotta find a way. You've gotta find a way.
But this is coming back. It's coming back fast and ferociously because we are waking up. The true science. Giordano Bruno said that. In 1600. They pulled his tongue out. The day they burned him, they stripped him naked. They pulled his tongue out and put a device there and a nail through it so that he could not talk to the crowds at Piazza dei Fiori in Rome. There's a statue there today. And people on the 17th of February every year pay tribute to Giordano Bruno. Get on YouTube, get on the internet and study what he said. The other thing he said was that there's many, many, many inhabited planets in the universe. And the other thing he said that stood out from what I've read is that the Bible is not to be taken literally. Okay? So we're coming around again. All the Renaissance masters were teaching that. All of them. So it's handy to read some of those Renaissance masters to see what they were thinking, because the Christians were quick to retaliate to that awakening that was happening. Started in Florence and then spread all around Europe. Beautiful wisdom. Then came the Reformation and the Counter-Reformation, 30-year war, and they succeeded to stifle the truth once more. But this time, it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. Yes, it does. Yes, Yahweh, Jehovah. But Jesus is specifically, that's the name of the Son. Just like the moon is called Luna. It's funny how people have not been taught to name the sun. The sun. It's got a name. In Hebrew it's Michael or Emmanuel. In India it's Krishna.
All right, this is Noon Science and Astrotheology Part 4 by Zane Koch Ve Lechet Nupu. 7 black walking orbs, planets, and stars. Uyu Utar Kenu Unu Nupu. Black 7-9 stool foundation power. Noon Ethiopian year 60, Nupu embryo year 96, January 12th, 2023. Martian Mars hour 9:08 p.m. to 10:18 p.m. Question: who were Melchizedek, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Melchizedek was an incarnation of the Most High God of the Phoenicians, called Elyon. Therefore, Melchizedek was a Phoenician. As stated earlier in this booklet, the Phoenicians were a branch of the Hindu people. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are another way of saying Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva of the Hindu, because the Jewish people are an extraction of the Hindu and Judaism is another form of Hinduism. Moreover, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are another way of saying Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Therefore, Abraham was Phoenician people, and the Jews adopted the name and thereby the meaning of Melchizedek and Abraham in the book of Genesis, 14 chapter 19 verses meant that the Jewish people and other Caucasians would receive their religion and culture from Phoenicians, but the Phoenicians had received their basic knowledge and culture from the Ethiopians. The Jews, or Jews with a G, were originally Greeks from Greece, who became the first Caucasian group to reach the lands, Africa and Asia, of culture and riches around 3000 BC. Hence, they became known as Hebrews in ancient times. The word Hebrew means black and star worshiper, and because the Phoenicians were star worshippers is one reason the Jewish people have a star today as their religious symbol. Moreover, a star is a symbol of power, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The Jews' original symbol was the cross like the other Caucasian symbols. Hebrew is a variant of the word Gibber, also spelled Gibber. Who were Esau and Jacob's 12 sons? Esau was the Phoenician people who represented the sun god Elyon, also called Zeus, and Jupiter. Jacob was the Jewish people represented the moon god Sin, also called Siva, and Hermes. Remember, all Greek and Roman gods were originally Phoenician Hindu gods. The Jews combined and united all those gods and called them Elohim. The good gods were considered Yah, and the evil gods were considered Way because the name Yahweh means good and evil. Yahweh is the same as Jehovah, and Jehovah is the same as Shiva. Shiva, same as Siva or Sin, Thoth, Hermes, is the god that extracted the Caucasian from the Hindu. The Jewish men used the Jewish women to take advantage of the ruling Phoenician, and this means plus deception. Esau lost his birthrights, heritage, because this dallying opened up the way to the Jewish invasion of the Phoenician stronghold called Egypt around 2000 BC, and during the next few hundred years is when Jacob the Jews stole the birthright of Esau the Phoenicians. And you can find that when you, even if you do research on the Phoenicians versus the Jews, or you'll come up with the word Hyksos or Assyrians around this same timeline. So I may do a little presentation on that. I don't know, it depends on because of my workload. But if you just Google Phoenicians and the Jews, and look at the timeline from around Ahmose the first all the way to Thutmose the third, that's when you will see that was the Jewish people in Kemet at that time, as the white Assyrians, the Hyksos. Some of them call them Hebrew Semitic people. But remember, just what I read, the original Hebrews was black African people as well as the Phoenician. The reason why, because the surface of any star in existence is black. All right? That's all that means. Again, if you know what Sabiism is, Sabaism, astrolatry, or astrotheology, noon science is the complete version of what the true stars were about and all that stuff like that. But this here is just to show you that once again, there are no 12 tribes of Israel. It is completely based on the Zodiac, because Zodiac means animals, and also Jupiter, who is the king of mankind, not the African kinky-haired people, and animals. The god of the Phoenicians is the planet Jupiter, called Allah today by the Muslims, all right, or Anu by the Sumerians. That's their god. To the black race, that's our auntie, all right. So there's a different variations, but you have to really understand the writings of Afro-Unos, Amenubi Rakapata back in 67 and 68, which these writings come from. But we're just going to concentrate and find more proof, right? Because that's what Noon is about. Facts, empirical evidence, what is that word he like to use? I can't. It's it's an unword he used in those books. I can't think of right now. It's uncompromising. That's it, uncompromising facts. And so Noon is the science of sciences and the science in sciences. All right, so let's take a look at this next clip that will do just that. Basically show and prove what I was just talking about the 12 tribes and the Zodiac and all that good stuff like that. You want to call the piece at one time.
Now, what we have here is Aries, Taurus, Gemini, spring. The Lamb of God that takes away the sin of the world. Because the Son has finally crossed over and forgiven us for the sins. That's Jesus, he's the Lamb of God. Here the fish, he's the fisherman of men. Here Aquarius, the son of man. Here he is the rock, because Orion is in here. Remember, there's always three other constellations, and the prominent one in Taurus is Orion. He's killing the bull. Orion is Osiris. And he's got three belts, dunk, dunk. There are three stars in his belt, and they point up to Sirius, which is in Cancer. They do. Brightest star in the sky. They point straight to it. And that is the star that sits over the manger where Jesus is born every year on the 25th of December. Manger, because there's a cluster of stars called the beehive, or the honey, or the manger. That's the beehive. It's in Cancer, near Sirius. And that's why the star comes up to here every year on the 25th of December. That's the sky you see. That's Bethlehem as well? Yes. Yes, Bethlehem is here. This is Bethlehem, the house of bread.
Which is a different constellation.
Because Virgo's bread. Yeah. So here's the rock. Here he's the twin. Here he's in Capricorn, he's the scapegoat of Israel. These are all descriptions of Jesus. Here is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Here's the unicorn or the scarab. Here is the virgin. We know he's a virgin. What about Mary Magdalene? Maybe not. But his mother was a virgin.
How does that work?
And he is called the bread of life. That's the bread of life. The sign of the bread. So the female cuts off that. The female was responsible for chopping off the positive electricity and beginning another polarity of positive electricity, which is air. Fire is the source of the positive polarity. There are four polarities, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's what Russell talks about. He says there are not two polarities of positive and negativity. There are four. There are four. And that explains it. This explains everything. It really does explain everything. When I say that, I run the risk of people going, oh, how arrogant and presumptuous, and how I do run the risk of it, but I can't. If you know what I know, and I haven't scratched the surface yet, you will know that this explains everything. This is the Tarot, the Torah, this is Kabbalah, this is, it's everything. There's no system that it doesn't embrace, because it is the blueprint.
So what's a way to explain the four polarities in a general term, or what's another way to explain it?
Two positives and two negatives, they are. That's what they are. One is electric, one is positive, one is magnetic, one is described as negative.
What year?
Magnetic, negative.
Electric, magnetic.
All right, no worries.
You're saying electric, negative, magnetic, negative, and then the positive of both. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. One, there are two kinds of. There are two electric. There are two electric and two magnetic polarities. And you know what they are? Earth, fire, air, and water. Hello. See? Because the air. Remember, Aries is the head, right? Cardinal fire. Pisces is the feet, mutable water. So, water is attached to earth, and fire is in the air. So we are batteries. We are magnets, and we're up to it. We're not walking on our feet for You know, no reason. And that's why Pisces is there. It's all science. It's known that the body has these 12 segments in it. So when are you rolling, eh?
Yes, it's
Okay.
rolling. It's rolling. We've been going for 2 minutes.
So when the Israelites are passing through the Red Sea, well, it's talking about our bodies passing through the red blood. Our red blood is very special. That's where our soul is. It's in the blood. And it's the Red Sea. There's no difference between salt seawater and blood chemically in the laboratory.
That's really interesting. Monatomic gold or the white gold that comes from seawater, it's not heat treated. David Judd talking about a healthy blood cell and how it looks under the microscope, which is healthy, as opposed to one that's bombarded with garbage. Anyway,
Yes.
sorry, I don't mean to detract.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So the body of the man, and the woman, please don't take this as man.
Body of a human.
Human, thank you. Thank you. I'm just using the man because that's how it's told me in every
You're still
classic.
studying away,
Yes.
aren't you?
But please understand, I'm not. By the way, remember the sine wave before? There it is.
Yeah.
So it goes through the liver, the kidneys. So when we travelling through the Red Sea, it means we're walking through blood. We're having a blood experience. And water. Water is feminine.
It's blood.
We are 70% water. So that is one sense of the Israelites going through the Red Sea. The other sense is, well, I'm Aryan, you're Libran, we've got Taurian, Pisceans here. We're the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right here.
Yeah.
These are the 12. We are the 12 tribes of Israel. Because spiritually we come from that. That's our. That's what the stars have set us at. I've been setting on the 24th of March. I've been set in Aries. My moon is here, and my ascendant is here. So I've got 2 fire. So my sun is in the head, my moon is in my feet, and my ascendant is in the heart. I guess. Put it that way. That's why you need to know your birth chart. Where are your planets? Well, I've got Saturn in Aquarius in machines with Venus. I've got the moon in Pisces and Jupiter, and that's his natural home, Pisces. So this guy here, Firmicus Maternus, says that if you have more than one planet in his natural home, you're really, really blessed. I'll just read that while I'm here.
More than one planet is natural.
Yeah, well, I've got Jupiter in Pisces, so Jupiter rules Pisces. Let me read it. This too we should know, that an average chart is that which has a single planet on its own sign, located in an important house of the chart. The man who has a chart with 2 planets, each in its own sign, is blessed. Moderately good fortune. Fortunate and powerful beyond the usual is the one who has 3. Tom Cruise, I'll show you his birth chart. He has 3 planets in their own home. He's got Mercury in Gemini. He's got Saturn in Aquarius like I have, because he's my age. Saturn was there for 12 years. And he's got Jupiter in Pisces.
So if you don't have 3, you're just going to be mediocre.
Well, this is how the planets bless us. These are our, what they call the stars. Oh, these lucky stars. You wonder sometimes how some people get...
It's either blessed or unblessed. It's like, yeah, Tom Cruise is blessed.
Well, what about severely handicapped people and mongoloid people that come into this world? Do they just go, dang, I didn't get, I'm blind, I didn't get to get eyes. You know.
Have you studied that?
If you're a Tom Cruise and you've got 3, well, he's lucky in this life, and that's
Yes.
nice.
Mm.
If you don't have any, doesn't matter.
No,
It
next
doesn't
time.
matter.
Next time.
But that's what that's how important the stars are. They are.
This is the way the ancients had it. The soul is the body and mentality of a person. When a child is born, spirits may possess his or her body, but those spirits existed ever since creation. The spirits that possess the person may be good or evil or both. This depends on the person's environment and the star or sign of the zodiac under which the individual was born. Moreover, the seed from which the child sprang is a major factor in determining his or her pattern of life. Bible Interpretation and Explanation, Book 2, number 4 to 6. As a matter of fact, this writer did a few videos called Noon Science and Astrology several months ago, 1 through 4, on this very topic on how knowing your natal chart helps the individual see how to chart their life course. This is why natal charts are not a part of public education or in religion, for that matter, where most of the world's people are mentally enslaved. Alright, this is the first one. You can go back in my YouTube. 7 months ago, this is part 1, and this is part 4. Noon Signs and Astrology. Alright, so once again, once you know your natal chart, I told you that's like your tablets of destiny or your Akashic records, if you want to use these terminologies. Like he said, if you got a planet in the original house, it represents like Leo would be the sun. So if you got your sun in Leo, right, and you got Saturn in Capricorn or Aquarius, or you got Jupiter in Pisces, for example, those are the houses of the zodiac that they represent. So that's what he's trying to say, because when you got those planets in their original houses, that means that you really are in tune, and those planets was there for you when you was born. And then if you know how to chart them, that's why you have to get somebody that's a professional to tell you what all of that means, because that puts you in alignment with everything about you. And I always tell people all the time, like, whatever childhood trauma you may be suffering from, you don't know, get your natal chart. Even if you go to astroseek.com and just look, check your Chiron and the placement in the house that it was in, it'll tell you that's where your pain is coming from. A lot of people just not listening because, again, their spirit is programming them to do other than what they should be doing, and they don't understand that. This is exactly why I keep putting the zodiac and the zodiac information in the beginning of my videos. You see me put, whatever the planet or sun hour, the location where we at the planet at the time, and what is his location, the time, and how these are the things you need to know, and the deacons that is in. Slowly, I've been doing this for a long time. Everything I put in front of y'all, you should research it, because it's a big science. Astrology by itself is huge. It's a huge science on its own. Then you start talking about astronomy, it's a lot that goes into it. All right, so that just wanted to add that part to that indeed, if you don't understand your natal chart, you're going to continue to keep getting caught up. All right,
those planets, and we chose to come in when it's like Russian roulette. We chose to jump into incarnation at that moment because we want Mercury in the feet, or for some reason I wanted the sun in my head. So I wasn't born 5 days early and to be polarized with the sun in my feet. I wanted it there. I chose that.
Yes.
And these planets are always, it's like snowflakes. It's never the same position for 4,320,000 years, according to Manly P. Hall, till they reset and go back to 0. Anyway, fortunate and powerful beyond the usual is the one who has 3, and he could be near to the gods in happiness who has 4 planets, each located in his own sign. More than this number, the character of the human race does not allow.
Who's got 4?
I don't know yet.
No.
I'm gonna check that, but I would imagine Leonardo da Vinci would have to. I would have to. There's got to be something in the chart that has to be, because Leonardo da Vinci is you. Why were you so smart back then? What I'm saying is, he's just dipping into the same solar consciousness as you are. He just got a big dick, you know, got a big dick. Because the planets were aligned properly. And he wanted to, and he knew he could do it. He could pull it off. He says, God, you allowed me to jump in at this time. I promise you I'll invent machines and I'll enlighten humanity. Other people who are not doing that, and who appear to be obtuse and trapped in the material maya, the illusion, they're probably forgotten. They've forgotten who they are. With all the fluoride in our water and all the immunisations and all the deliberate dumbing down in our education system to keep people obtuse, deliberate.
It's just because they're not awakened.
Yes.
They're not awakened. I don't think it's deliberate. They're not awakened. They don't have the consciousness.
Oh, it is deliberate.
Yes.
When you look at the food that is put into people,
It is.
very hard to
Unfortunately,
be
there's some
conscious.
evil people on the planet. Well, evil, I'd say insane, not evil. I would say that they're insane, deluded, and they've chosen, because money's the power and money that you get. There's opportunities out there, and you know, instead of staying on the course and applying the holy science and just, you know, concentrating on the gods that we are. We see the new iPod and the new one, you know, the new TV, and I want some of that, right? Now we all suffer from this. We all do. But
he was.
exactly.
They're
That's
on
right.
their journey too, aren't they?
Yes. Bless them. Yes.
We've been there and done that kind of thing in
Yes.
our lives. We're no different to them. We're
No.
part of it. We're all.
They're probably the reason we're
And-
asking questions now.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and how about this? It says, while on the other hand, he who has no planet in his own sign will forever be unknown. He's not talking about forever, right?
No.
It's in the life that person has been under. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Some people choose to be unknown.
They're happy. They're happy.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
They're happy.
They could be a lot happier than Tom.
Of low-born life, that's right. Of low-born life and doomed to a miserable life, he says. So that's probably talking about, you know, people who are really suffering. There's a lot of suffering. All right. I'll just put that in there because I'm going to deal with that later. But for now, I want to deal with the wisdom that's in the Bible, the stories, and how to discern and understand those. Let me just read from Luke, because Matthew and Luke talk about Gabriel coming to tell the Blessed Virgin Mary that she's going to have a child. See, Mary always conceives of the child, because remember, Aries rules from 6 to 8 o'clock. That's usually when the sun rises. Who should be sitting on the western horizon every morning? Every morning, because of course we know the 3 cycles. The day starts here. The year starts here. And the backward processional great year. So the Virgin is always there. And because this is the equinoxes and the solstice on the 25th of December when the sun is born, starts his way up, becomes a man, little boy, man, old man, dying, son. Right? When he does that, when he's born here, the Virgin is still in prime position. She's still there. So they look east, because this is east. They look east on the 24th of December at 12 o'clock, midnight. Right on that point, when the sun begins to start climbing up again and the days are lengthening. That's why Lent is over here. Because the days are lengthening. It's short for lengthening. The days are getting longer. Longer, the days are getting shorter. Right. Now, what happens in Luke, because the gospel always starts here. But the science starts here. You can start the gospel here or here, the sheep or the goat, the solstice or the equinox. Okay? Luke. And this is nice. I'm just going to read from the first chapter when Gabriel comes on down and tells Mary. Right? So, in verse, I've got the Jerusalem Bible. I like this Bible. It's good, beautiful version. Luke 1:19. I am Gabriel who stand in God's presence, and I have been sent to speak to you to bring you this good news. Another version says, I am Gabriel who stands near to God. That's Gabriel who stands near to God, Mercury. The messenger. Gabriel is Mercury. In verse 26 it says, in the 6th month, that's the first month, that's the original name, Primus. And in fact, spring in Italian is prima vera. Prima, because first is here. The head is here, the year starts here, the day starts here, right ascension starts here, in the first degrees of Aries. That's the longitude of the skies. Right ascension starts here, first degrees of Aries, just like Greenwich, right? That's the Greenwich point. What else starts here? Oh goodness, the horoscope. Read your horoscopes in the magazines. Always starts with Aries. In the 6th month, Virgo, the messenger who stands near to God, the sun, Mercury, comes to tell Virgo that you will give a child, right? In the 6th month, the angel was sent by God to a town in Galilee called Nazareth, to a virgin betrothed to a man named Joseph. She's betrothed to Boethius, who also has a red star in it called Arcturus, the brightest star in the northern hemisphere. You can see it next to Scorpio. It's not far from Scorpio. When you see Scorpio tonight or wherever, look sort of more north and you'll see Arcturus. There's nothing so imposing as Arcturus. He is spectacular, red, and is massive. You can see he's massive. And if you look at him on Google, check out his size compared to our sun. Antares is big, the red star here. 2 red stars here. She is betrothed to Joseph. That's Joseph, the shepherd. And they go down together. They are wed. That's what it means.